Welcome back to the game of GP Damascus. ALittleBlank is on blue-green Lysandra. We still haven't figured out how the deck works. ALittleBlank didn't have a super good showing in round 1. They actually lost a deck that's pretty similar to what Dravos was playing. So Dravos was playing 5-color Legends, which is also another deck that uses Starving Bloodling plus Elf Core in order to play 5 colors while still maintaining pretty good color fixing. And it's very similar to the 5-color Lone Survivor deck that ALittleBlank faced last round, except it doesn't have all the hate bears that Lone Survivor deck runs, so ALittleBlank is probably pretty happy to hear about that. ALittleBlank keeps a hand that has Lysandra plus Twisted Threads, and I guess Fennec Farsighter's Adventure is going to draw them into stuff to do. And meanwhile, Dravos keeps a hand with 2 Mad Dorks and some Emmas. I think the game is mostly going to come down to if ALittleBlank can actually do stuff. But with ALittleBlank constantly drawing more lands, that's not looking very good for them. They're going to adventure the Fennec Farsighter, hopefully trying to hit action. And they find another Fennec. Or actually they get 2 cards off Fennec. They get a land and a non-land. And they have to discard one of their lands to hand size, funnily enough. I guess next turn they're also playing Fennec Adventure. As for Dravos though, I think next turn they just get to play Emma, and then hope to hit stuff. Dravos fetches out Rampant Summit. And does Dravos' deck not run Dominions? Well, they do run Verdant Dominion, but they could have fetched out Verdant Dominion here, right? And then add Emma mana? Because right now they don't, well, they have Timber Ring, so yeah, they can fetch for one of the Dominions, and then that gives Starving Bloodling more colors, and then they can cast Emma. So Dravos is going to end up turn solar for base. So Dravos plays Timber Range, and they're probably sacking it for Dominion. Or they're getting Resplendent Subterranean instead. Well, I guess that means they can cast stuff off Emma if they draw something that costs 2 or less. I'm not sure what they can actually fetch off Emma that they can cast with this mana. Well, okay, they get L. That's something you can cast off this mana. But yeah, Emma only fetching 1 card. Well, it's not that big of a whiff. L is pretty good right now. But it is a whiff, because usually you want to get more than 1 card off Emma. The Dravos is probably just going to play L Humble Apprentice. I don't think it's really worth keeping a Solar Flare here. There's not really any good targets in ALittleBlank's deck. Well, no, they're going to keep up Solar Flare. I guess next turn they're playing L, and then the turn after that they transform it. I feel like they should have played L this turn, so next turn they can transform L. Well, either ways, ALittleBlank plays Fennec Adventure. They managed to flip a land and a non-land, so both Fennec Adventures have been hits so far, but they're not really drawing good cards off them. And ALittleBlank does have too many lands in hand right now. You're going to Solar Flare the Mana Ascetic, I guess. Makes sense. Keep ALittleBlank off mana. Because if Mana Ascetic didn't die there, then ALittleBlank had Lysandra plus Twisted Threads up. Okay, Chikami Castle, so that makes Starving Bloodling make all colors of mana. And this turn, Dravos can just play L and then Helen Devastator. Well, Helen Devastator doesn't have any targets, so yeah. Probably just going to play L here and then fetch a basic. That will prevent the pain lands from being Dravos now. Yeah, it's so close. The Dravos, maybe if you played L last turn, then you could have flipped it. Although I guess killing Mad Dork there is just as good. So yeah, not exactly a misplay. So ALittleBlank draws Recall Forgotten Aeons. They can't play it, but they can also play Lysandra. I guess they don't really want to risk Lysandra getting removed, so yeah, they're just going to Recall Forgotten Aeons now. And that draws them cards and ramps them. And they get to play Mana Ascetic with Twisted Threads back up. Or, no, they're not going to do that. I feel like they probably should have played Forester so that they can have Twisted Threads up. Because now, well, because it will matter here, because now Mana Ascetic dies to Helen Devastator. Well, actually, never mind, because Twisted Thread needs something with the same mana cost in hand, and ALittleBlank doesn't have that, so yeah, I guess there was no point in keeping up Twisted Threads. Maybe ALittleBlank should have played Wayfarer's Shrine so that they can thin their deck. I think Dravos is just going to flip L here. ALittleBlank has enough mana that Mana Ascetic doesn't really, or killing Mana Ascetic doesn't really matter. And flipping L will let Dravos start drawing more cards. Okay, Dravos is going to attack first. I guess they attack with Emma and L. Yeah, because there's nothing ALittleBlank is blocking with. ALittleBlank can't really punish the attack, even if they had pawn yet, because L has 2 toughness. And now Dravos flips L. And probably plus 1s, so they can draw 2 cards and discard their extra land. Or they can also -2 to find something good. They're gonna -2 here. What can they fetch then? Well, maybe they're getting Veer, or they get Abaddon. They're gonna get Grade instead. So next turn, Grade will be able to be cast for X equals 5. And then that's 5 hasty 2/1s coming at ALittleBlank, and yeah, that might actually just be lethal. ALittleBlank needs to be worried about that. Okay, and now ALittleBlank draws yet another land. Now that they have all this mana, can they finally do something with their cards? Like, can they show us what the combo in this deck is? Because so far we haven't seen anything super impressive, anything that's worth running these mediocre cards for. Okay, there's Fennec Farstrider. I guess they're just planning to end of turn twist the threads it. So end of turn they twist the threads, which gets Lysandra on the field. And after that they can, I guess, twist the threads out Fennec, or I guess play the second Fennec, which allows them to fetch stuff with Lysandra. But that's all next turn. Let's see if they survive what Dravos is doing this turn. And honestly, they might not survive. Dravos is thinking about what to do. They're going to draw with Valir first. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just see what your options are before you commit. And they don't really draw anything that changes the play this turn. In fact, they might just discard 2 cards instead of the land, like the 2 Sanjins, because they're not really that useful right now. Dravos just wants to grade for a lot. It seems like Dravos agrees. They'd rather keep the land. And they dumped the Hidden Devs here. I guess it's because there's no good targets for it. And all the good targets will get Twisted Threads anyways. No, Dravos taps out for grade, probably. And so that's grade for 5, yeah. Well, it's still not lethal yet, right? Dravos swings in for 12, and then ALittleBlank blocks with Fennec, and then jumps another one of those guys. And I guess they use Twisted Threads to protect the MSEM, or no, that doesn't work. They just use Twisted Threads on Fennec to get Lysandra into play. Wait, Dravos is not going to attack. Wait, why? What's Dravos so afraid of that they're willing to miss out on 10 damage? That has to be incorrect, right? Not attacking there? I mean, yeah, so even if ALittleBlank had Twisted Threads, there wasn't anything that would have blown out attack with all the squirrels. I feel like Dravos they haven't thrown the game yet. Maybe they can still win this, but they definitely missed a huge opportunity to get damage through. And now Lysandra's in play, and now we get to see what the deck actually does. They're going to play Mana Ascetic and use Lysandra to fetch something. They fetch Beacon of the Wild. Now they can use that thing to fetch something else. And they're going to play Fennec's Adventure, getting 2 lands. They're getting a super land heavy draw this game. How many lands do they even run down? I mean, they run 24 lands. Their mana base is entirely basics and Wayfarer's Shrine. So they play down Fennec Farstrider from the Adventure, and I guess fetch Fulfill Twisted Dreams. So they're still not going off this turn. All they have done is set up some stuff for combo, I guess. And that gives Dravos free reign to do stuff. And Dravos has a Valir on 3, so they can down-tick Valir and find something to do. What can they even find with Valir then? They can find another grade, and then, yeah, I think another grade probably just wins the game for them. Do they have 2 grades? Yeah, they have 2 grades, so yeah. The right play here is a down-tick Valir, fetch their second grade, play the second grade for X equals whatever, and attack with all these swirls. And there's no way ALittleBlank can get enough blockers. Let's see if Dravos realizes that. No, seems like Dravos is just going to play stuff from hand. Are they looking to play another Bell? Or they're going to Solar Flare the Lysandra. And yeah, that actually kills it because ALittleBlank doesn't have a second Twisted Threads in hand. And doesn't have enough mana up to flashback Twisted Threads. But that stops the combo and ALittleBlank just concedes. So yeah, round 2, and we still haven't seen what ALittleBlank's deck does. Look at the sideboard. Dravos' deck has 4 Fog Obscures in the sideboard, so they're definitely bringing that in. And otherwise, I guess, no, the 4 Fog Obscures is really the only thing that you really want. Maybe Spore Flow, but just mostly Fog Obscures. And ALittleBlank sideboard looks like this for 1. But they're probably bringing in the Soul Pierces, and then I guess the Broods and the Values Muses, or mostly just the Broods. But yeah, the game 2 is starting, and ALittleBlank gets a hand that actually has Matadorks and Lysandra, so they're probably keeping this. And Dravos, meanwhile, gets a hand with Thriving Buddling and L, so they're also keeping. ALittleBlank leads off on the turn 1 Mana Ascetic, and Dravos, being on the draw, won't be able to turn 2 Stellar Flare before ALittleBlank can tap with it. Dravos playing their own Mana Dork. Oh, ALittleBlank gets turn 1 Mana Dork into turn 2 Recall Forgotten Aeons. So yeah, that's a really good turn for ALittleBlank. The turn 1 acceleration into turn 2 Recall Forgotten Aeons is basically the entire backbone of the Rejuvenation decks, or I guess the blue-green Land Vomit decks. Dravos untaps, and probably just playing L here. Or actually, they can L and then also play another Thriving Buddling. So both players are getting some pretty fast acceleration. And Dravos is playing L here, fetching on basic. I think Dravos gets a 5 mana next turn if the Thriving Buddling survives, which they will, because ALittleBlank has no removal. So that means they get to flip L next turn. So that's a really early flip. ALittleBlank also gets the 5 mana next turn, so we'll see what they can do with all that mana. They play the second Thriving Buddling, and then they pass. So ALittleBlank drawing even more Mana Ascetics. Are they willing to run out Lysandra here and possibly get killed? I don't think they will. They might just drop some more Mana Ascetics, that when Lysandra comes down, they can immediately use it. They're going to play yet another Mana Ascetic. And since Dravos is likely flipping out next turn, they won't have Solar Flare up. I guess instead of flipping out, they can also just play Abadel. High Chancellor Casimir. Honestly, there's a bunch of good options for Dravos here. Well, playing Abadel will also augment the Thriving Buddling, so I think that's probably the one play they're going for. And that puts a bunch of pressure onto ALittleBlank to do something. Not exactly sure what that something is, because, again, I'm not really sure what their deck does, but at least we'll force ALittleBlank to show us what their deck does, or I guess die trying. So Dravos also swings in with L for free. And ALittleBlank draws Betsy's Brood. I wonder if they were looking to draw land there. Oh yeah, they were definitely wanting to draw land there, but I guess maybe we get to see what the deck does. So Fulfill Twisted Dream makes 2 mana, so that means ALittleBlank has 8 mana total this turn. They drop Lysandra first. They play Mana Ascetic, probably fetching Twisted Threads. I guess Twisted Thread will protect Lysandra from a removal spell. Or no, it doesn't even protect Lysandra here because there's no 4-drop in hand for ALittleBlank to twist the threads and switch it with. I wonder why ALittleBlank just ran out Lysandra like that. I guess they're sort of desperate or something. Well, there's another Solar Flare. And I think Dravos is more than happy to just kill the Lysandra here. In fact, even if ALittleBlank had Twisted Threads with another 4-drop in hand, since Dravos has 2 Solar Flares, they can kill Lysandra through a single Twisted Threads. Wait, is Dravos playing to Helen Devastator here instead of Solar Flare? They're playing High Chancellor Casimir. Well, I mean, gets a long creature. Oh, wait, they get to Cascade too. So what can they cascade? Okay, Thriving Buddling is something that they can cascade into. So now Dravos doesn't have mana up for Solar Flare, and they can't kill Lysandra. Wonder why they didn't kill Lysandra there then. Well, either way, Dravos attacks with Abadel, and ALittleBlank's probably just going to block and then twist the threads, the Mana Ascetic, and then I guess that fetches another Twisted Threads. It also gets 0 on the board, and then I guess that's probably enough for ALittleBlank to combo. I'm assuming the combo is something like use Fulfill Twisted Dreams, untap stuff to make mana, and then coalesce it, which triggers 0 and also triggers Lysandra, which allows you to fetch an extra copy of Fulfill, and then you just get all your Fulfills on the board. No, they're not going to end up turn Twisted Threads. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they will have enough mana to 0 plus Fulfill Twisted Dreams. I feel like that they probably could have done it better. And Dravos is also punished for not keeping up the 2 Solar Flares that they had. They totally could have just kept up the 2 Solar Flares and prevented this from happening, but they had to play out a creature instead, and cascading into thriving bubbling that doesn't really do much. Or actually, no, thriving bubbling's right. They don't actually have augmented because the land don't make 5 colors yet. I think we're finally seeing ALittleBlank's deck go off after much trial and tribulations. Oh yeah, that's going to make a bunch of soldier tokens. But yeah, it seems like after much trial and tribulation, ALittleBlank finally gets to get their combo off. Feels like the combo is a bit too loaded. It requires too many pieces, and the pieces aren't even that good on their own. Like, Zero doesn't do anything in this deck until you start putting out the revelations. So I guess that makes you a bunch of mana or something, and then you get Conjure Realities at the end, which gets you Recalcitrant Aeons, and then you dump all your Recalcitrant Aeons onto the board too. I guess in the end you get really overwhelming board state with few cards, or with a bunch of cards and lands ramped. And yeah, Fulfill Twisted Dreams again. We'll just watch this combo get played out. Yeah. Well, at least the combo's pretty fast once you get going. And at least the math on this combo is a bit easier, because in Rejuvenationless Rejuvenation, you have Realms Overturning, so our lands are making 3 mana each, which could be any combination of colors of the land, so you have to do a lot more bookkeeping and math with that deck. With this deck, it's just every land makes what it says on the tin. Yeah, and that's all for Fulfill Twisted Dreams now. I'm assuming the last one fetches Conjure Realities. Anyways, how many tokens is High Chancellor at anyways? It has to be at least way more than this, I guess. And there's the Conjure Realities. So what's ALittleBlank planning to win with at the end here? Honestly, I have no idea. Oh yeah, there's Recalcitrant Aeons. I'm assuming all Recalcitrant Aeons are getting coalesced or getting fetched off Lysandra. Although, even though you have so much mana, coalescing Recalcitrant Aeons and casting it isn't that cheap. It costs 10 mana per. So, like, even though you have all this mana, you can only Recalcitrant Aeons a few times before you run out of mana. I guess afterwards you're just done with the combo or something. Or no, wait, right. Coalesce Recalls will figure 0 and then tap your land, so you're still losing mana on each recall, but not as much as if you would just play them directly. Oh right, I guess Panya's tail is how you're winning with this board. You give yourself an extra turn so that these guys don't have summoning sickness anymore, and you swing for lethal. And the problem for ALittleBlank is that High Chancellor Casimir makes 2 tokens for each revelation you get onto the board. Gives you to cast it twice. And they don't have trample, so you can just chump block them with all of the human tokens. And I guess if Dravos has some sort of reach, then they can still win. Well, actually, let me see if Dravos has anything in the deck that can win here. Okay, right. So Dravos still has an out here. They use their soldier tokens to chump the first attack of all of the revelations. And then I guess they Solar Flare face twice. And then next turn hope to find more Solar Flares. ALittleBlank's also drawing more parts of the deck, so maybe they have more answers now. Anyways, that's the last Recalcitrant Aeons. Let's see what ALittleBlank fetches next. To be honest, even though like this looks really cool, I'm not that impressed by a combo, just because of how much setup it requires. Like, you need Zera in play, and then you also need Lysandra in play, and you also need a bunch of mana before you can start comboing, right? Like, how much mana do you need? You need basically 6 total. I mean, Fulfill Twisted Dreams on top of their permanent, so you probably need, well, actually 6 lands, or is it 5 lands or 6 lands before you can combo off with Fulfill Twisted Dreams? With 5 lands, you float 1 extra, and okay, yeah, you need at least 6 lands before you can start comboing, because Fulfill with 6 lands lets you float 2, and then 2 plus 6 equals more than 7, which allows you to coalesce it and then start going off. When I say lands, I mean like mana sources, stuff that makes mana. So yeah, there's Panya. I guess that's getting Twisted Threads. Oh, Bessie's Beard's gonna kill L. I mean, I guess what else do you spend your mana on, right? Actually, something else with ALittleBlank's board too. Since you have 2 soldier tokens for each revelation, plus some extra from the other non-creatures that ALittleBlank has cast. If ALittleBlank swings out with all the revelations, you chump all the revelations, and then after that you swing back with all of your remaining soldier tokens, and I think that might just get lethal in combination with solar flares. Then again, ALittleBlank gets an extra turn, so they get to tap and do some more stuff. So ALittleBlank takes their extra turn. Dravos is just going to concede. I'm pretty sure Dravos still had, like, they had an out, right? Like, they had 2 soldier tokens for each revelation, so the revelation swing, Dravos chump blocks the revelations with the soldier tokens, and then they crack back with the remaining soldier tokens. And I'm pretty sure that's enough to get ALittleBlank into solar flare range. But I guess since ALittleBlank's untapping with stuff, they might have answers up, like Spectrum Archmage, which would counter the solar flares. So game 3, ALittleBlank draws a hand that they can't keep, so they're shipping that back. Dravos draws a hand with 2 Tharian Budlings, so they're definitely keeping this one. They can get a turn 3 Glitch Galactic moves, right? Turn 1 Tharian Budling, turn 2 Tharian Budling, and then yeah, turn 3 they're at 5 mana and they get to play Glitch. Okay, that's a pretty good hand for ALittleBlank, so they're probably keeping this. They have, or okay, they bottom 0, right? Or maybe they definitely want Lysandra. They're gonna bottom 0. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They can just try to fetch it out after they have the combo set up. So ALittleBlank does have Bessie's Brood to try to prevent their turn 3 glitch. Actually, no, they can't really, because Dravos, since they're on the play, gets their turn 3 before ALittleBlank's turn 3. So unless ALittleBlank finds Masek or something, well, okay, another 0. Honestly, they might just play out the 0. No, they're keeping it. Even more Tharian Budlings. Okay, yeah, Dravos is getting up. Probably did not draw, honestly. So yeah, they get to play on 2 Tharian Budlings, and I guess play Timber Range on top so they can fetch the Dominion, which gives the Tharian Budlings more colors. Actually, so they need blue, red, and white. Do they have any lands that make those combinations of colors? So do they have a Crystal Caverns in their deck somewhere? No, they don't. They might not actually have the right mana to cast Glitch next turn, which would be a huge relief to ALittleBlank. So Fennec Farstrider, not getting what they want. So Elhumber Apprentice, I think that gives Tharian Budlings to make out colors of mana now. But that does mean that they can't glitch this turn, but they can definitely glitch next turn. And an early glitch like that might just seal the game for Dravos. They're gonna fetch Rampant Summit. Oh, I guess they have L, so yeah. They L this turn, fetching Island probably, and then next turn they can glitch. They have all 5 colors for glitch now, so no, they're going to play glitch for all but glitch requires blue. Yeah, okay. Now they realize. I mean, that could, if Dravos didn't draw L there, then that fetching decision would have punished them way more, but L kind of just bails them out because they can fetch the island that they need. Dravos, you didn't start a game. L literally just bailed you out of this, and you're still super ahead. Like, you have 6 mana on turn 3. And even if you fetch the blue land with L there, then actually there was no way for you to fetch both the blue and red land, right? Because your Dominion is black, green, and blue. So even if you fetch your Dominion there, then you wouldn't have red mana for glitch. So there was no way you could cast it this turn. And now ALittleBlank draws Fulfill Twisted Dreams, which is more parts of the combo. ALittleBlank plays Bessie's Brood. So do they kill L or do they kill the Thriving Budlings? There's like no good option here, because if you don't kill Thriving Budlings, then Glitch comes down and all of these guys get augmented, so they get 3 counters, and that's a lot of pressure. If you don't kill the L, then you're gonna flip, and then you're gonna have to deal with a Valir. ALittleBlank decides to kill the L instead. I guess because Valir can minus to fetch Dravos more cards. Well, either way, Dravos is playing Glitch for the full converge, probably. And Dravos is notably not tapping their Thriving Budlings, even though they're going to tap at the end of turn. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess sort of matters because you have more mana up during your opponent's turn, but since Dravos doesn't have... it will matter because they have Sanjing, so if they use the Thriving Budlings to cast Glitch, and then that means they will have 5 mana in total, and they can Sanjing without completely tapping out. I mean, it's still really minor because they're already so far ahead, but... And okay, they're going to play down Osk now. And they're just gonna shoot stuff with Glitch for now. So now, ALittleBlank's staring down a bunch of really angry, thriving Bloodlings. And they don't draw a land. That's unfortunate. In game 1, they drew too many lands, and in this game, they're not drawing enough lands. Zero can... they don't have anything to twist the threads with, so... Yeah. They're gonna play down 0 to chump block, and then they're going to lose from there. And ALittleBlank just concedes they don't really want to play it out. But yeah, at least we got to see what the combo is, even though combo is really unwieldy.